your friend John Madrid. And
Bella Garcia, I'm here.
there you go with Bella Garcia on this topic Tuesday, ¿ok? También les quiero recordar que hablamos español y este martes la tema va a ser de los diferentes tamaños de casas móviles regulares y todo eso. All right, guys, we like to start off the intro of the video just letting you guys know that on Tuesdays, we're doing topics, and today's topic is going to be talking about the intro into the different size of homes. So let's get rock and rolling since we're keeping these nice, short, and tight. Okay, so right now on this topic Tuesday, o el martes, o la tema de martes, is the introduction into different home sizes. All right, we're going to be doing little mini series. This might only be a two-part series, but we're going to go shorter but more in depth with more intricate examples. So let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Okay, so the basics. What kind of homes are there, Bella? Let's do a quiz, see if we can both read them.
Oh, quiz. So just from my understanding, of course, we have our single section homes, our mega wides, which that was new for me.
Right.
That was something that you kind of marketed yourself for that one.
Correct.
And then we have double wides, and then we get into the more bigger homes that are going to be our triple wides as well as modular.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so in a nutshell, she basically pointed out, there's 4 or 5 different categories, right? So you're going to have your single wides, which we're going to go into a little bit more depth in a second, your mega wides, your doubles, then your triples, and then of course modular, which can be in pretty much any size that's going to be included. That's the reason we put it on the same category as triple, because any of those can be modular depending if you need to go mod or not. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. So single wides, okay? So your single wides typically, starting with your small tiny homes, can be as narrow as 12 feet up to 16 feet. And then the length is going to be 40 up to 80. It just really, depends on what it is that you guys are needing. Of course, like your different land sizes, things like that. And like she pointed out here, linear design, and of course, it's an efficient use of space. Because believe it or not, I mean, most apartments, I think the average apartment is what, under 1,000 square feet?
For the most part, yeah, definitely.
And these single wides, the smallest is like 600, and then the bigger ones would be 1,200. So, I mean, it's a lot better, efficient linear design like you're talking about on the space versus, comparing it to an apartment. Because a lot of times single wides they're perfect for any type of family, but those first time home buyers or people who are trying to get out of an apartment or a rental, that's going to be your perfect type of home to go with. And again, we're not trying to discourage you not to go for the home run, the double wide. If we can get you pre-qualified for that, all power to you. But if you're looking for more of an introductory home or something like that, which next Tuesday we'll go more into depth into like the entry level, mid level, luxury level, and how they apply under these different circumstances. But did you learn anything interesting about the single wides, Bella, when you were doing the research?
The single wides were a little self-explanatory for sure, as far
Okay.
as like it is going to be more of an efficient use of space. And like you said, you're talking about comparing it to apartments. Some of these apartments are charging, $1,200, $1,500 for a small amount of space, when reality is you can get yourself into a single wide home and
For
it,
the same or less, right?
yeah, exactly.
Heck yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's move on to the next one. So the next one's a mega wide. Okay, so mega wide, they've been around for a while, but a lot of people don't really carry them. We definitely do. So that's going to be your 18 wide, right? So it's going to be an oversized single section house, which seems like a lot of words to describe it. But most dealerships only carry 12, 14, and 16, and then they go up to the smallest double wide, which we'll talk in a little bit, and they skip over the mega wides. Now, mega wides are 18 and they can be anywhere from 40 to 80 feet. So if you were to get like an 18 by 76, 3 bed, 2 bath, and they make them in 4 bedrooms as well, now you're up to that 1,300 square feet sizes, which is going to be bigger than some of the doubles, depending on, which ones you're comparing them to, which I knew they were surprised by that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you can tell a big difference. I mean, because the most popular single wide is a 16, but when you go to that 18, that 2 feet, it makes a huge difference. So it's a really nice surprise when you walk in. You're like, dang, it's spacious, and it's still one section. So the cost to set it up and install it is less expensive than a double. And we'll get more into that next week. But the good part is, well, let me ask you, Bella, and there's no wrong answer, right? If you could get a little bit higher of like a luxury home in a mega wide versus the same square footage in a double, but it'd be a little simpler, which one would you want to go with?
I would definitely want more of like the luxury touches and the luxury feel.
Especially
And
if it's the same cost, right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I was just pointing out that it's, the 18 wides that are a little more luxurious run the same as more of an entry level double wide. So you spend more of the money on, I say more of the money, you're spending the same amount of money, but you get, tape and texture. You start to get, higher, amenities, which I think most people would like. Don't you agree?
Yes. Yeah, the quality is going to be better when, you weigh, it a lot of times too, you have to kind of weigh your options, what matters most to you. And like I said, on a personal level, I do want more quality and luxury feel, even if, it's going to be one of the single section type of.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's move on to the doubles. All right, so your double wides again can start as small as 24 and up to 36. So really a double wide is two single sections put together. So a 24 would be two 12s, a 32 would be two 16s, and then a 36 would be two 18s put together. So again, those can also be from, anywhere from 40 feet, like a 24 by 40 or a 28 by 40. That's only 1,100 square feet versus an 18 by 76 mega wide, which will be 1,300 square feet. So that's like one example right there. And I could give two, three, four different kinds of where a mega wide is bigger than a double wide, but it also will depend on the size of your land, and what you're able to fit in there, which we'll go into depth a little more in next week's part two of this when we talk about the entry level, mid level, luxury, and then where it makes sense to put what house depending on what you have. All right, well, let's go ahead and flip flop to the next one. All right, so triples. Okay, triple wides. So just kind of like on double where you have two, 12-foot sections or two 16-foot sections or three 18-foot sections. Triple wides can be 36 wide, 12 or 24, 36, or they can be three 16s, which I can't even do the math right now. I must say that's almost 45. And I've seen maybe one in my whole life where they did three 18s. But at the end of the day, I mean, typically it'll be anywhere from 36 to 45 wide or 48 wide technically. But yeah, so typically on the triple wides, I mean, then we're going up to that, 3,000 square feet marking it. It's really open because you're more of a square. Because typically on the triples, again, I got 15 years experience. The most typical size is a 45 by 60. Now, again, they can go up to 80 and all that, but that's roughly, it's more like almost a square than more than a rectangle, if that makes sense. And four or five bedrooms is pretty common with the triple wides. Have you ever seen one, Bella, by the way?
I have actually, I've seen one, right? It's also crazy seeing them, go to the location of where they're going to be put in. So you just see like these different sections, pulling up on a truck, and it's like, whoa, like this is, and it's huge, honestly.
It is. It's amazing, And then touching base a little bit on modulars. Every single section that we talked about, whether it be single, mega, double, or triple, can be made into a modular if that's needed. And we'll talk about that more in depth on part two on next Tuesday when we talk about entry level, mid level, and luxury level, because your modulars are typically going to be classified into your luxury level. That doesn't mean that every luxury level home is a mod. It just means that the ones that are luxury typically can also be built to the mod code. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and swap to the next one here. So, which is just basically how to contact yours truly here, John Madrid or Joe Angel. What's the phone number, Bella?
432-201-1105.
All right. And then it shows our emails. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. I'll go ahead and just tell them the emails. So our emails are just john@moveinnext.com or joeangel@moveinnext.com. And of course, the number is going across the bottom, 432-201-1105. And again, make sure you click the links at the top. The first one is for you guys to go ahead and get approved with no deposit required. That way we can get you the max approval with the minimum down before you ever have to send us $1 towards your down payment. Then the second link talks about, Manu, Move In Next University. And then the third link is for you guys to also follow us on YouTube. So on this topic Tuesday, where we did the intro to the home section sizes, we will see you guys next Tuesday. And it's your friend John Madrid and
Bella Garcia. We'll see you.